I'm Jennifer. Standing here on the stage of a Women in Business Summit in San Francisco, beneath the banner that reads Reclaiming Power, Money, Boundaries, and Self-Worth, I can't help but reflect on the journey that brought me here. It's been a year since I finally broke free from the chains of a family that never truly appreciated me. A year ago, I was celebrating my 30th birthday in a way I'd never expected. I was on a quiet beach in Greece, with the sound of the tide rolling in. There were no family members, no group chats, and no fake smiles. Just me, the sun dipping low on the horizon, and a newfound sense of peace. It all started on that fateful birthday morning. I woke up to complete silence. No calls, no messages, and definitely no happy birthday texts from my family. Out of habit, I opened my Instagram. There, in a carousel post, were my parents, my sister Lily, and her boyfriend, all grinning on a beach in the Maldives. The caption read, "Surprise trip for our amazing Lily. She's the one who truly makes our family shine." And below it, Mom's comment was like a dagger to my heart, "She's the pride of our family." I sat there, the glow of the screen illuminating my face, as those words echoed in my chest like a thunderclap. I finally understood what it meant to be the overlooked child. They hadn't forgotten my birthday, they'd deliberately ignored it. For years, I'd been the reliable one in the family. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were a bit old-fashioned. Dad was a strict man who always believed in traditional gender roles. He thought my career in finance was just a woman's desk job and never really supported my ambitions. Mom, on the other hand, was more passive-aggressive. She always favored Lily, my younger sister, who was more outgoing and charming. I'd covered Lily's rent multiple times when she was in financial trouble. I'd also loaned Mom money for her cosmetic surgeries without a second thought. And I never complained when Dad belittled my hard-earned career. Meanwhile, while they were sipping cocktails in the Maldives, I was at home, working overtime to pay off the credit card I'd used to bail Lily out of a bad investment. That morning, I decided enough was enough. With a calm, practiced smile, I opened my banking app and transferred every dollar from the family fund I'd created and managed into a separate account under my name. I logged out, shut my laptop, and whispered, "You wanted to ignore me? Well, now you'll face the consequences." By noon, I received my first family emergency call. Mom's name flashed on the screen. I let it ring twice before answering. Her voice was frantic. "Jennifer, something's terribly wrong with the bank account. Our Maldives card's been declined." I feigned confusion and said, "That's strange. Didn't you say I wasn't really part of the family? Maybe the universe finally caught up." She paused and then said in a scolding tone, "Don't be so dramatic. Lily needed this trip. You're just too sensitive." I laughed quietly, the kind of laugh that scares people because it's so calm. "Sensitive? You just said online that she's the pride of the family." Mom tried to brush it off, saying, "People exaggerate on social media. You know that, right?" I shot back, "And I exaggerated when I paid for your last facelift, I guess." There was a long silence. Then she snapped, "You're being selfish. We're on vacation, and you're making a scene." I smiled into the phone and replied, "Enjoy the sun, Mom. You've earned it. But from now on, you'll have to take care of your own finances." I hung up, blocked the family group chat, and turned my phone face down. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty, I felt balanced. That evening, I poured myself a glass of wine and opened my journal. I wrote, "Let them feel the pain of being unseen, unheard, and unappreciated." And I added, "When they call back, it'll be for money, not love. And I'll answer with the same silence they gave me." The next morning, my phone was bombarded with messages, missed calls, and voicemails. Dad's voice on the voicemail was sharp and angry. "Jennifer, what the hell did you do? The funds are gone, and we can't access the card. Fix this immediately before your mother has a breakdown." I poured my coffee and listened to the message again. They didn't ask if I was okay, they didn't say happy birthday. All they cared about was getting the money back. By noon, Lily texted me a long paragraph full of entitlement. You're seriously ruining Mom and Dad's trip. Grow up. You've always been jealous of me because you don't have a fun life like mine. Stop trying to control our family. I stared at the message and simply replied, enjoy budgeting. I turned off my phone and walked out into the city sunlight. For the first time in years, I felt like my own person. That afternoon, I went to the bank and moved the rest of my linked assets into a new account under my business name. The clerk smiled and asked, starting something new? I smiled back and said, ending something old. When I got home, there were 36 missed calls. I didn't answer a single one. I was no longer their safety net, I was the wake-up call they never saw coming. By the third day, chaos had hit their paradise. Mom's friend uploaded a video from the Maldives. It showed my parents arguing at a beachside bar, Dad's voice booming, she's made us look like fools. Lily was sitting in the background, crying into her phone. It wasn't really about the money, it was about losing control over me, the one who always fixed their problems. At noon, Dad sent me an email, we're disappointed in you. Your actions are unforgivable. Family doesn't betray family. I started to type a reply but stopped halfway. Instead, I attached a PDF labeled Financial Record, 2018 to 2023, which detailed every transfer, expense, and emergency payment I'd made for them over the years. I sent it with the note, family doesn't exploit family either. That evening, Aunt Sarah called me. She whispered, they're panicking, Jennifer. Your dad's furious, your mom's crying, and Lily's blaming everyone. What did you do? I replied, nothing illegal. Just a little accounting. Aunt Sarah chuckled and said, good for you. It's about time someone stood up to them. I looked around my apartment, filled with all the things I'd bought with my own hard-earned money, and said softly, I didn't stand up to them, I just stopped standing under them. 2 weeks later, their Maldives fantasy collapsed. Their flight home was charged to Mom's frozen card. The family account was permanently closed, and the credit line they'd relied on for years was flagged for review. Finally, Dad swallowed his pride and called me from a borrowed number. His voice was low and careful, Jennifer, we need to talk. I let the silence stretch before answering, about money, or about family. He sighed and said, about fixing this. I almost laughed and said, there's nothing to fix. You broke our family years ago. I just stopped patching it up. His tone hardened, you think this is strength? It's cruelty. I looked around my apartment and said softly, no, Dad. It's clarity. Later that night, I got an email from Lily. She wrote, they're saying you ruined everything, but I get it now. I saw Mom's comment. I'd be hurt too. It was the first honest thing she'd said to me in years. I wrote back, I'm not angry anymore. I just stopped financing my own rejection. Then I attached a screenshot of a donation receipt for $10,000 from the family fund sent to a local charity for women in finance. I captioned it, better investment. A month passed. There were no calls, no emails, and no guilt. The silence that once stung now felt like a precious gift. Work was going great. I got a promotion at the firm, and I finally launched the financial literacy program I'd been dreaming about. It was for women who'd been manipulated or controlled through money. At the first workshop, a woman asked me, what made you start this? I smiled and said, a family who taught me everything about debt, just not the kind you can repay. That night, I received a small envelope in the mail. There was no return address. Inside was a photo of Lily and me as kids, eating melting ice cream on the porch. On the back, in Mom's handwriting, it said, we went too far. I'm sorry. I didn't cry this time. I just put it in a folder marked past and placed it in the back of my drawer. The next morning, Lily texted me, Mom's been quieter lately. She wants to talk. No pressure. I typed a reply but paused. Forgiveness isn't easy. I finally wrote, tell her I hope she's okay. I'm okay, too. That's enough for now. 6 months later, here I am on this stage, sharing my story. A young woman came up to me after the talk, clutching her notebook. She said quietly, my mom says I owe her everything, even my paycheck. I smiled gently and said, then start by owning your own peace. That's the first debt you pay. As I looked out at the ocean tonight, the moon shimmering on the water, I thought about how far I've come. I whispered to myself, happy birthday, Jennifer. This celebration is exactly how it was meant to be, free from the chains of an unappreciative family and filled with the peace and self-worth I've earned.